and that gets into this next thing I want to talk about a little bit is just basic care and feeding that well, this one probably fits one of those, 83.67% of all statistics are made up. I don't know. I don't know if it's 98% or whatever, but really huge percentage of SQL issues performance-wise really come down to the application. That's typically not an area that most sysadmins deal with. I don't even typically try to do performance tuning because I get so heavy into the application side of things. But it's still possible to have certain configuration things that can be set wrong from the beginning or changed along the way. So
Tim, if I can just make a comment here.
Yeah.
To your point on item number 2 there, used to run a network for a financial company, and my knowledge of SQL is minuscule. But the DBs, or one in particular, was installing enterprise version on everything. And we had an environment that was just filled with enterprise versions, which is very expensive. And it was very difficult for us to, in a relatively quick way, back all that out.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, I talked a little bit about that in one of these upcoming.
Sorry about that.
Here. So yeah, it's possible to, there are certain mistakes that you can make with SQL. Typically, though, it's by just making wrong choices. In general, if you we used to laugh at people that would, oh great, they installed this SQL server by doing next, all just clicking next all the way through it. It turns out nowadays, over the years, Microsoft has really improved that. That's typically about the best configured SQL server you can have, is if you use most of their defaults are pretty solid. There's still a few things that might be worthwhile to check into. There's a number of SQL Build Checklists out there on the internet. Google for those, ping me if you want to. If you're building a new SQL server, there's a handful of things that really matter. But again, most of it is, defaults are pretty good. SQL Server overall, once it's up and running, is mostly set and forget. It's the tuning, self-tuning stuff is really good. Again, if you do like the, that optimizer or the SQL statistics updating and such, the optimizer can figure out things pretty well, and it does a nice job. If you're doing Best Buy or Target or whatever, Black Friday, oh yeah, you're going to need to do some tuning and tweaking, but for the most part, most of what SQL needs, it can take pretty good care of itself. One thing I would point out for care and feeding, though, is getting the service updates on there fairly often. People used to wait, okay, I'm just going to wait for the next service pack. Well, guess what? Microsoft doesn't do service packs anymore on SQL Server starting with 2017 version. So it's all in terms of what is called cumulative updates. And those are coming out, what I said almost monthly there, but it's in terms of, once a new version of SQL has been released, initially released, they do CUs about monthly, and then they kind of back down about once a quarter, and then it probably gets even less frequent than that once the thing's been out there for a while. But when they do come out, it's important to have them. They are really fixing some major performance issues sometimes that they found out that certain conditions perform much better if they've done this inside the thing. So, or even adding new features and functionality with new cumulative updates. And of course, the biggest thing is security. There are security patches that come out. You should be updating your SQL Server just as much as you do your Chrome browser, your Adobe Acrobat, all of those kind of apps. SQL is just as, needs that just as much.